What's good, Internet? It's Undead. I'm back from the River Styx to talk to you about one of my favorite games of the past year, Hades. For those who have been living under a rock or have been otherwise busy pushing a rock up a hill every day, Hades is a roguelike hack-and-slash indie game that sort of took the gaming world by storm last year. It's won over 50 awards, has been nominated for even more, received universal acclaim from game critics, and, like all great games, generated tons of good memes. So, okay, everyone agrees that Hades is a great game, but why is it great? What makes a game where you die to the same monsters in the same way, over and over and over again, so fun? Part 1. Addictive Gameplay. I'll be upfront with you, hack-and-slash gameplay is typically not my favorite. Anything that requires me to actively pay attention is usually not my forte. To give you some perspective, my favorite kinds of games are turn-based games that usually go something like this. But for whatever reason, the different variations of weapons, the satisfying sounds of a great dash strike combo taking down an enemy, an insane amount of boons combining to create unthinkable rates of DPS, stacking doom effects to take down the final boss in under 30 seconds, it f***ing works in Hades. The frantic pace takes some getting used to, of course, but when it clicks, it clicks. The genius of this is that the more boons and abilities you have stacked, the more fun the gameplay becomes. This motivates the player to go farther than their previous runs and to push past unfortunate deaths. Does this borrow heavily from previous roguelike games like Binding of Isaac? Absolutely. But that brings me to my second point. Part 2. Seemingly infinite unlockable stuff. As I've mentioned, Hades is a roguelike game, or actually a roguelite game, but that's a debate over terms that I'm not going to get into in this video.
According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the defining characteristics of roguelike games are A. Procedurally generated spaces or dungeons, B. A high difficulty floor and a steep learning curve, and C. Unpredictable, random variations between runs.
So, in a roguelike game like Slay the Spire, for example, you do your run, you die or win, and then you start over. In Hades, however, after you die, there's lots to do before you start your next run, and there are lots of ways to continually influence the difficulty of your next runs. Is Hades the first roguelike game to do this? Of course not. Something like Darkest Dungeon is a good example of a quasi-roguelike game that gives you things to do between runs, with the potential for your characters to build in strength and stamina over time. But in Darkest Dungeon, those between-run activities get stale and repetitive pretty fast, whereas in Hades, they never seem to get old. I have over 300 hours sunk into Hades so far, and I still haven't scratched the surface of some of the dialogue and unlockable stuff. Hades wisely gives you the goods slowly instead of all at once, making these unlocks and upgrades continue to seem fresh. Very mild spoiler here, but they eventually let you unlock a completely useless statue just so that you have something to unlock. The game even acknowledges that the statue is useless. And that brings me to my last point. Part 3. Meta Commentary. Hi, I'm Undead. I'm looking into the camera at you, the audience who's enjoying this YouTube video. This is meta commentary because I'm explicitly referring to the conventions, genre, framing, or story of the medium you're trying to enjoy. YouTubers do this all the time when they refer to some text on the screen or point to the description box. Oh, my Twitter is down there if you want to go look at it, by the way. Video games, on the other hand, don't do this as much. A lot of games try to immerse you in the experience of playing it, such that you forget about the fact that you're a human couch potato and not a shape-shifting, gunslinging witch with a spandex-clad dump truck ass. Hades, on the other hand, likes to draw your attention back to the fact that you are playing a game. It does this through the main character, Zagreus, who slowly comes to figure out that he may be the main character in a roguelite game. Specifically, he's self-aware of the fact that he dies all the time, comes back to life, and remains stuck in this game cycle even after he reaches the surface, reunites his family, and completes every minor character conflict in the game. He can at times even appear to hear the game's narrator, who he finds overly critical.
You know I can hear you, old man.
Other characters do this too. Hypnos comments on how you died, Hermes makes jokes about how he never shows up until Asphodel. Skelly's entire arc has him grappling with his role as a character with an unknown backstory who exists solely to be a practice dummy. Even the narrator begins to crack jokes about how he's running out of ways for Zagreus to die.
The prince neglected to avoid, stepping on a toxic strain of fungus.
Is Hades the first game to include meta humor? Of course not. There are tons of great self-aware games, going all the way back to the Mother series and beyond. But the way that Hades sprinkles in these meta jokes into the dialogue and gameplay feels fresh, and it livens up a game genre that runs the risk of becoming too tedious and challenging. So yeah, in conclusion, play Hades. You really have no excuse. It's fun as hell and it's usually on sale. You'd also be supporting a game studio that treats its workers with the dignity and respect they deserve, unlike some others. The Last of Us. If you'd like to watch me try to stream Hades, make sure to follow along on Twitch, which is in my description, and I stream on YouTube as well, so go ahead and do all the clicky, subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll hope to see you guys on stream sometime. And, oh, wow, are those floating thumbnails? That's super meta. Wonder what those are doing there. You should try clicking one of them. I'm not gonna end the video, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. Have you clicked them yet?